Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree. I'm a transgender woman who talks about all things horror, and today we're talking about Warlock. Now, if you watched some of my other videos, this one might confuddle you a little bit because, backstory, I'm a witch, a pagan witch in real life. And so I'm often disillusioned or disheartened or not a fan of the way witches are often depicted as devil worshippers in these movies. Also, there is the matter of the fact that it's called Warlock instead of the Witch, or the male, or just the Witch. It should have been just called the Witch because Warlock is an outdated term because they're just witches. Men are witches, women are witches, non-binary witches are witches. They're just witches. There is no warlocks anymore. So those are the two things I want to put up front. And the reason I want to put those up front is because I am actually going to recommend this as a buy. So, spoiler. And I want to say that because even though he is a devil worshiper, and his goal in the movie is literally to summon the devil to basically bring about the end of the world, it's still a good movie. It's a fun ride. So it starts off with him in the olden days, and I'm not going to try to guess what time period it is because I don't think it specifies, but we'll just say the olden days. And he's in a tower, and they're getting ready to execute him, and he casts a spell to escape and transports himself into the future. And when he gets to the future, the spell he cast accidentally summons the witch hunter that was after him. And I'm just going to call him the witch hunter because I'm not using that outdated term any further than in the title of the movie. And so he goes after him, and he ends up encountering this woman who the witch put a spell on, who is aging. And so she's going to die in a few days because she's going to age out of her existence and turn into a rotting corpse, kind of like the Nazi guy did on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when he drank from the wrong grail. That kind of situation. The only way to break the spell is for her to get the item that the witch stole from her and cursed, and then take it back, and then the witch hunter can do his magic and reverse the spell or whatever. So that's basically the goal. The goal of the movie is to, one, rescue the damsel in distress, so there is that aspect of it. And the second goal is to stop the witch from summoning the devil and ending the world. So that's the basic plot. There's very little in the way of kills in this movie, so it's more like a creepy kind of, atmospheric horror than it is like true like kills and terrifying and death and whatnot. But the magic is pretty good for the time, I want to say, considering it was made in the 80s, but it was released in the 90s because there was some situation behind the scenes with the studio that made it running out of money and having to find another studio to release it and that kind of jazz. So it's one of those movies that came out in the 90s, but it looks like it was made in the 80s because it was made in the 80s. But it's a really good movie, and I highly recommend it. Like I said, this is a buy. You should definitely watch Warlock if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to get into the sequels because, that's another topic for another day. But this one is a good movie, and I highly recommend it. And it's a good, I want to say, adventure film, kind of. A little bit of a road trip movie. But yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.